Hi everyone, it's Angela from Cake Angel, and in today's bake along I'm going to show you how to make one of my most favourite cakes. It's a lemon drizzle cake that is so great that it's going to have you thinking of spring days that are coming soon. And we'll go through the ingredients as we progress through the recipe. I'll also put all the information in the description below for you, so let's get going. We're going to be baking this today in a loaf pan, and the first thing we're going to do is add 175 grams of sugar and 175 grams of butter. I'm using a plant-based butter here, and we're going to put that in our mixing bowl and mix them together until they're nice and light and fluffy. Now you can do this in a stand mixer if you prefer, but I'm using a hand mixer just to show you that either option will work. You want to make sure that all of the sugar is incorporated into the butter, and make sure you're using room temperature butter for this as well, as it will actually help it mix together a lot quicker. Next we're going to zest our 2 lemons, and I like to use a grater for this, but if you have a zesty you can use that as well. And you just want to make sure that you don't go through to the pith of the lemon, as that will actually cause it to be quite bitter. We just want that really nice zesty flavour instead. Okay, we've got a really nice amount of zest there, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that to our mixing bowl. Make sure you scrape out all those bits, as it makes a really big difference if you've got lots of zest in there. It's going to give you that really nice spring flavour. And then I'm just going to mix it with a spatula to combine it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add our eggs. So I like to crack them in a separate bowl. This is just to make sure that I don't end up with any shell in my mix. You could obviously break them straight into the bowl if you prefer. So we've got 3 eggs in here. These are also at room temperature. I just brought all my ingredients out of the fridge a few hours before I started making this. And then I'm going to use the mixer to combine everything together. Again, you're looking for that mixture to be nice and light and fluffy. It's quite pale in colour as well. Next we're going to add our flour, and I'm using self-raising flour for this. This is 160 grams of self-raising flour. I'm giving that a good stir with my spatula again. And you can see that I'm folding this in rather than using the mixer, because we don't want to beat out too much of the air or overmix the batter. And then the final thing we're going to do is add the juice from 1 lemon. So I have this handy little juicer that I use. You could always cut your lemons in half and juice them that way instead. Whatever method you choose is fine. And then I'm going to mix that together, and that's our cake batter made. Really simple and easy, and it came together so quickly. Next thing I'm going to do is push that to one side and show you how to prepare our baking pan. So I'm using a regular loaf pan for this. We're going to line it with parchment paper. And when I do this, I always like to have a longer piece of parchment paper than the tin, so that it makes it a lot easier to remove the cake once it's baked. You'll see that I'm just using some butter to grease all of the sides of the pan, and then I'm popping the parchment paper on top, making sure that it sticks to the sides. Then you can go ahead and add your butter to the loaf pan. So I've already preheated my oven for this. I'm using 320 degrees Fahrenheit, which is roughly around 160 degrees Celsius if you work in that temperature instead. And you want to make sure that it is preheated, so that you're not putting your cake into a cold oven, or obviously it will not bake properly. Once your batter is in the pan, just give it a press down with your spatula. You want to smooth it out, make sure it's nice and even, and then give it a couple of taps on your counter to flatten it out even more. And then we're going to pop it in the oven and let it bake for 50 minutes. So whilst that's baking in the oven, the next thing I'm going to do is make the drizzle for the cake. So I have 100 grams of sugar, and to that I'm adding the juice of 1 lemon. I'm just going to give that a really nice stir. So we're not looking for a runny drizzle as such for this. What it'll actually do is melt as it hits the cake, because we're going to add it when the cake is warm, and then it'll drizzle down the sides. So now I'm just poking some holes in my cake. You can see it's nice and brown, it's well cooked. The holes will actually help the drizzle soak into the cake as well, which is really great. It adds some nice moisture throughout. And then you just go ahead and add the drizzle on top. And you can see what I mean. As soon as it hits the warm cake, it starts to run down the sides as well. You can help that along by using your spoon as well. But see how nice and shiny that is, and when it does set, it's actually going to add a really nice crunch to the top of the cake as well. And there you go, that's my perfect lemon drizzle cake made. I hope you've really enjoyed watching this bake along. Don't forget to pop a comment below if you liked the video, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get updates when I post more content. Thanks for watching and have a great day.